Guys, kind of fool here, and ladies. I always say guys at the beginning. I don't know why. With my mid-season finale of season 3 of The Walking Dead, Made to Suffer. The episode is titled, as many comic book fans know, that is the title of. I think I'm not sure what volume it was, but it's the prison arc. Remember, there will be spoilers of this episode. I recommend not watching this video until you watch the episode, especially this episode because it was a mid-season finale and possibly the second best episode in the series. They'll never beat the pilot because the pilot is the reason the show exists at the moment. Um, so reminder, there will be spoilers, comic book spoilers I usually say before, so you don't have to worry about those until I give you a little fair warning before I even spoil them. Um, so if you have not watched the episode yet, I recommend leaving the video, and then when you watch it, come back for, if you got any questions, comment below or anything, or tweet me. My Twitter's below. Um, so, episode 8, like I said, like a minute ago, this trumps episode 4. Episode 4 was big for the storyline, but I don't think it comes near to episode 8 because there's so much information in the episode and the what can happen. There's so much to happen in it. Every minute was action packed. You learned something new. You learned something about a character. Someone dies or someone, um, you know, you learn more about them and learn what their true intentions are. And you definitely could see the real side and how characters are developing. And this episode was full of everything that you could imagine of a great TV series. Um, it offered action packed every minute. Even the talking scenes, and even from episode 7 at the end when that music was playing, you knew how awesome episode 8 was, and it lived up to that music because um, Bear McQuarrie, I think his last name is. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right, but he makes some great music, and episode 7 made me cannot wait for episode 8. And what an episode it was. So it starts off where you're in the woods, and you meet a new group. You got Tyrese, who is from the comic books. I won't go into about him, but he's pretty much the Daryl of the comic books. He has a big following. His younger sister, what's her name? Sasha, and Donna, and her son, and I believe her husband. That is the group. Alan. Alan's her husband's name, and I believe her son's name is Ben. Um, in the comic books, this is not a big spoiler, but there's twins, and Tyrese is with, I think, one other person. I can't think of it on the top of my head, but they have Alan and Donna who were kind of fan favorites and kind of big in the prison arc. They do have the teenager, which could be, um, facilitating Carl and Beth, maybe. I'll explain at the end of the video where you can probably hear more of my thoughts on every character. I'll explain at the end of the video. I just want to get through this review before I even mention that. So you see them. They find the prison. You find cell block E, I believe it is, and there's a broken down fence to get through. Um, Leads me to believe maybe they might have to deal with that broken down wall, or maybe it could be a problem for them later. But I don't know if they're gonna go back and cover that material up. I think it was just showing them getting to the prison, which you do find out is the prison. Um, Back at Woodbury, Andrea's still talking to the governor, telling him how she wants to help Milton, and he's like, "Woodbury's starting to grow on you." Foreshadowing. Just a little one-word description of what that meant. Um, like I said, every scene was action-packed. Even that one was, because you could tell by the governor's face when they looked at it when she was talking, and how he was thinking about handling her in the group, knowing that Glenn and Maggie were um, captured, and she knows them. So it's a very intense scene because you find out the governor what he's really thinking about this, and he knows something that she doesn't know, and he's trying to plan it out while talking to her. Um, then you find the secret room by Michonne. The governor opens it up. Penny. He has another action-packed scene showing that he's starting to lose it after finding out that there is a group in this so-called red zone that Merle described it as, and that they couldn't take it. He's starting to get a little bit frustrated and paranoid, as you saw at the last 5 minutes of episode 7. He was starting to get paranoid, and he didn't know what to do, and he's not prepared for it. Um, pretty sure he's not prepared. He thinks the town's not prepared for an attack from this group that went into this red zone that they call it and took over a prison. And they've seen the prison before. David Morrissey was fantastic casting by I don't know their names, but he's perfect for the governor. He did a fantastic job these first 8 episodes, and I can't wait for the next 8 episodes to see how he pans out. He's probably going to be the biggest changing character in my mind. Um, then you go back to the interrogation room. You see Glenn and Maggie. Glenn is getting ready to attack whoever comes after him to take them out of there. He takes Bones out. He seems that he's in a pain. He seems like he is in pain, but he's going to protect Maggie with every might he has. And he made that quick decision, which you're learning about Glenn. He's a very ninja-like guy, no stereotype in there, but he's a fast-thinking, fast-mover guy, and he pretty much takes the Bones and uses it as weapons. Back at outside of Woodbury, really, Rick and Michonne, Oscar, and Daryl are there. Michonne disappears. She ends up, she found a place to get through there instead of going through the main wall, which would have been a hassle for the group, and you could have lost a couple lives there, which they did not want to. So Michonne fast thinking, showing that she's still that loner, but I think she's showing. Gotta itch my foot here. She's showing that she could be useful to taking down Woodbury and get these prisoners back. Not necessarily taking down Woodbury, but the main focus of this was getting Glenn and Maggie back. Then the governor has a conversation with Myrtle after he finds out that there's a group at the prison, telling Myrtle and Martinez to get a scouting group to go find them. And then he suggests to Myrtle, get your brother to be the inside man and be a spy for them. Myrtle says he will, but nothing happens to Daryl, and the governor says of course. And the governor makes this. Ooh, that was the chair, but the governor decides to kill Glenn and Maggie or take them to the Screamer Pits, so Andrea doesn't find out and start asking questions. I don't think Myrtle or anything knows that the governor and Andrea is intimately involved right now. So, and then you got a nice little funny scene here. Back at the prison, Carol warns Axel to stay away from Beth, and Axel's like, "Well, Maggie's taken. You're a lesbian, and she's the only one." And this little scene there, he's like, "You're not a lesbian?" She's like, "Nope." She's like, "We got short hair." It was a nice little scene they added. It shows how Axel could be. He could be that the comedian dude that brings the group to light, maybe. But he was flirting with Beth and Carol. You kind of find out that he was in jail for drugs. But find out he's been in there a while, and he's just a little bit tidbit of Axel. I think we'll see more of him in the next 8 episodes. But then we go back to Woodbury. Myrtle goes to this interrogation room where Glenn and Maggie are there. They ambush him. Maggie stabs one of Myrtle's men. Glenn holds off Myrtle, and eventually they get Myrtle in a position where he can't do anything. But of course, he's got back up there, and Glenn and Maggie. The plan was foiled. It almost worked, but it was foiled, and it was a nice try. Now they're probably gonna die. That's what they're thinking. But the key thing here actually was this open the lane for Rick and the group to get into Woodbury. They're in the room that separates them from the streets of Woodbury. They hear the gunshots and everybody rushes there. They get in there. They use the smoking grenades. If he is all about supplies, as you saw with the National Guard people he killed. He will do anything to get supplies for his town. It probably intrigued him. More or less that people might be dying defending this place that he calls safe. But they eventually get Glenn and Maggie. The they have this little tense scene with the smoke where they, were waiting for Merle to see Daryl, Daryl to see Merle, and it never happened. But the governor he's trying to play it off. He's a very suave guy, you could say. He tells them all go back to his place, all their places, lock the doors, and keep the lights off, trying to keep everybody calm, which it's a good idea. But then he goes to his I guess militia, if you want to call it, says we're under attack. He's really good at lying. He's really good at body expressions, and that's why he's a good leader for this town. And maybe Rick can learn something from him, maybe, which eventually they might learn from both aspects. Rick might learn from the governor. The governor might learn from Rick. Um, but then the rescue team, middle of the street of Woodbury, not a good idea. They got a couple smoke grenades. They use them. Um, then Glenn actually tells Daryl that Merle's alive, which is key. Glenn, as you know in season 2, was not good at hiding secrets. He told about the walkers in the barn to Shane, which led to the whole thing of finding Sophia. He told everybody that Lori was pregnant, so he's learned to not keep withhold information anymore. If anything, he finds out anything, he spreads it. And he told Daryl that Merle's alive. Daryl wants to go find Merle. You see the worried Daryl come out. He's like, my brother's in there. I want to go get him. He's the brother looking for the brother. He doesn't want to leave his brother blind. His brother behind at Woodbury, knowing he's alive. Which comes key in a little bit. But the governor gets the militia together, tells them, hey, there's people here, let's find them. Tells Andrea to check the residence. She does not like that idea, but she does it anyways. And then meanwhile, Michonne sneaks into the governor's apartment and waits for him to return to his apartment, which he does a lot for some reason. But the rescue team makes a run for the wall. The rescue team being Rick, Glenn, Oscar, Glenn, Daryl. You know the rescue group is, but Andrea disobeys what the governor said, and she starts shooting at him, knowing it's a good shot. But she said she spotted someone in a prison suit. I'm slurring my words, but she says she spotted someone in a prison suit, and the governor's quick thinking it's the group that Glenn and Maggie were a part of, that they told them about. So he knows information Andrea doesn't know. He knows too much, and it's gonna maybe harm him a little bit that he didn't tell everybody. Which could come back to haunt him. Maybe some people might want to leave. It comes in this theory I have that they'll go with the comic book way, and have some people would leave Woodbury because they're not satisfied with what the governor has been doing. I could see that being that to play out, especially Andrea. And then you see Rick shooting behind a solar panel. He sees Shane. It's an illusion. He is post-traumatic disorder right now. Still, he hung up on Lori, but he still hasn't game up on Shane. He sees Shane. It's an illusion. He shoots Oscar. Then he shoots him. Rick could have saved Oscar, but his mind is playing games with him still. Oscar dies. There's this little meme or little troll thing that Walking Dead can have one black. They only can have one black male every time in that group. As you see, T-Dog died. Oscar came in. Oscar dies. Tyrese comes in. So I don't. It just happens. But you see Oscar die. Rick could have made that stop, but his mind, like I said, is playing games with him. He goes to look at the corpse, of course. It's not Shane. Mind's playing games with him still. At the prison, Tyrese's group, you can hear screaming. Carl goes to get him. Herschel tells him not to, but Herschel lets him go. He knows that he's got to trust Carl at this point. He's got to let him do what he wants because Carl likes to go search around without telling anybody, and actually told somebody this time, so just let him go. And I think Herschel, he's gaining trust with Carl and understanding that Carl is becoming a child soldier and he can live on his own. So he lets him go, and he finds Tyrese's group and a bitten Donna, um, and he takes them back to their part of the cell block, which I think is cell block C. Back at the apartment, Michonne discovers the fish tanks with the heads. Find out who Penny is. Finds out being a walker. Um, she has, and then you see this really, really good planned out scene. It was one of the better scenes in this episode. Is when the governor sees Michonne with Penny and having her pretty much hostage, he just breaks down. He loses it. Um, Not only do you find out more about the governor and what Penny meant to him and what he would be willing to do to save her, you find out Michonne kind of sees us and makes her wonder, should she be the loner? Um, I think Glenn Mazzara said this in an interview that I read before this, but he explained that she's hit rock bottom pretty much. That's quotes from him that she hit rock bottom and she realizes that she needs a group to survive. And if she goes to Woodbury by herself instead of using Rick's group and just doing it by herself, she's gonna die. So I think that moment meant both. It showed you how the governor is and how it shows you what Michonne might become. Is she become, instead of a lone wolf, she become a team player. Um, Michonne kills Penny. Governor loses it. Um, Probably one of the better fight scenes I've ever seen in TV. I'm only 18, so I might never saw the good, like, I haven't seen all the fight scenes. But it's a really, really good one. You saw the governor beat the shit out of Michonne. Excuse my language, but he beat the shit out of her. And Michonne would not stop. Michonne eventually stabbed him in the eye. This is the transition from The Rise of the Governor, which is a book, the prequel pretty much to the Woodbury, where you're going to now see the comic book Governor. Um, there's a big difference between the TV Governor and the comic book Governor. He's really dark. There's more things done to him in the comic book at this part of the, where Michonne attacks him, or he attacks Michonne. There's way more done. Um, Comic book spoilers here, but I'm gonna explain it. It's not really a big thing, but she stabs his eye out, cuts I think his left arm off, and cuts his manhood off in a very gruesome way. Um, they wouldn't go that far on TV. I understand it. Losing his eye was big because the eye patch means something to him. Um, well, it has some meaning to what he has become now. Uh, and this is the transition from him being the political governor to the comic governor, pretty much. And you'll see this a little bit later by the way he acts, his body language. Once again, David Morrissey did a great job with displaying the governor. I think they did a wonderful job. I don't think anybody else could have done a better job than him. So great casting on part of AMC or whoever, whatever runs it. I don't know. I'm not there. But Michonne's about to finish the governor. Andrea walks in and lets her go. Do this little scene of the moment where pretty much they know that it was just a tense scene because you see Michonne, you see Andrea. They were once friends and now pretty much not because she trusted Woodbury and she didn't. And she went with her gut and she was right. And Andrea finds this out because she sees the heads. She sees Penny. So she's gonna start wondering. She's a very curious person, and she will ask questions. Before the zombie apocalypse, she was a civil rights lawyer, so she's gonna ask some questions. Um, Back at the prison, they lead Tyrese's group into their area, end up killing Donna, which they don't show. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they will. Um, then you see Sasha. Maybe you learn a little bit about her. She's a very aggressive person. When she doesn't get what she wants or she feels betrayed, she gets in a very angry state, and Tyrese is the one that slows her down. That's Tyrese's younger sister, so there can be some effect there. Those two's, though, Tyrese and Sasha's relationship will be, I think, a key thing to look at coming into the next 8 episodes. A little bit later in the video, I'll explain what I'm doing Monday or Tuesday. I'm pretty sure Monday, but stick around for that. But Tyrese points out that this is the best situation they've had in weeks. So they're kind of like Rick's group. They've been on the road for a while, but they were 8 months. Tyrese's group was a few weeks. So you can see some differences and some comparisons between the two groups. Um, Back at Woodbury, Andre is asking questions about the heads, and Penny explains the heads are used to him to um, succumb himself to the outside world, the horror of it. He uses the heads to just look at and be like, they're not one of us and they're an enemy. And I'm not sure if he gave an exact Penny. Uh, he I don't think he asked her about the penny, or he gives her an answer about Penny, which I'm pretty sure at this moment she knows that's his kid. Seeing when she walked in, he was cradling her. Merle comes in, and Milton asks what happened. He said it was an attack, and this is where the governor, the the gruesome, dark, controlling, nothing could stop governor. He pretty much swab, like, I don't know. He looks at Meryl in this very, very dark way, and I think he knows. Meryl might not know at the moment, but Michonne's the one who attacked him. Meryl doesn't know this yet, and the governor gives him this look that you lied and we're done with you. Um, so Meryl's mistake kind of fucks him. Uh, Outside of Woodbury, Michonne the rejoins Rick, Maggie, and Glenn. Daryl is still inside. I didn't explain this earlier, but I'll explain now. He stayed back to cover fire, but obviously it was known he wants to go find his brother. Um, he, they're not going to let him come back. Um, well, they're waiting for him to come back. I don't say they can't let him come back, but Daryl wants to go find his brother. He uses this thing to cover them to pretty much go find his brother. He pretty much blew off the group to find his brother that he might not even know. He might even kill them because of all the smoke grenades they threw, the flashbangs. You never know. Um, so he took that risk, and he could die of it. He could get in some trouble. Um, but you see this moment with Rick and Michonne. Rick pretty much like, what you do, and you see Michonne say, I want to help you. I want to end this. I want to help your group. I want to help you get Daryl. I want to be a part of your group, basically what she's saying. And that's where the Governor versus Michonne fight scene came in, because now she realizes she's not going to live by herself. She's not going to live on her own. She's got to be with a group, and she might have found the right group because they need her at this moment. With Daryl gone, Glenn injured, they obviously don't know about Tyrese, but that's to come. But Michonne this is how Michonne gets introduced into the group. She will be allowed to stay in the prison now because she basically said, I will help you. I want to be with your group. So it was a very key moment for the series. Is Michonne has succumbed she's given up her lonesome ways, and she wants to be a team player, like I said a little bit earlier. And then the cliffhangers of cliffhangers. Maybe one of the best cliffhangers I've seen in a while. Like I said, I'm 18. I haven't seen the best ones, but this was a very well played one. It was a very intriguing way they did it, and it actually leads into another story and what people were asking for. You see the arena, the governor making the speech. I failed you. He's once again he's being the manipulative governor, but you could tell by the way he's walking, the way he's looking, the way he's talking that he's a changed man, and he's set out to take out these terrorists that which is the prison group, which he is naming them right now, are terrorists. Um, for Woodbury, they're the bad guys. But Woodbury doesn't know Glenn and Maggie were taken. So Rick's group thinks they're the bad guys and they're the good guys. Woodbury thinks they're the good guys. They played it out so well because Woodbury doesn't know, but the prison group knows more pretty much about Woodbury than they do about their own town. But um, this is the start of the governor's reign. The governor he basically lies to Woodbury. He won't tell him why, but Merle was named a traitor, and he's no longer part of Woodbury. He says he led him in there. He was pretty much the inside man, but knowing that he just pissed off the governor. He told the governor that he killed Michonne, but he didn't. But he's not going to tell that to Woodbury because Woodbury will want to leave. The citizens will want to leave. Um, and then they bring Daryl in. How did they capture Daryl? I don't know. Maybe he was searching after, but they captured Daryl. I don't think they're going to close that, but they captured Daryl. And now you get to see the Daryl Merle scene. Uh, and then you see Gunner say, "You wanted your brother, uh, you got him," and that was the cliffhanger. Daryl and Merle are together again. Very well played. Now you get to see the backstory of this. You get to see the good old Georgia boys. They did really good with the camera focusing. They would blind up the citizens pretty much and show it Daryl and Merle and they're together, and you see them together, and they have this force with them that just says they're not gonna give up till the fat lady sings. Pretty much, they're gonna fight till the end. They're not giving up now, and now that they're together, they're even stronger than the whole Woodbury. Um, and they have Lady Luck in their side. Andrea. Sorry, I always pronounce the name wrong. It's a confused fucking name. But she knows Daryl. Daryl knows her, and this is Andrea's breaking point with the governor. Um, there's such a well played out scene because now you see how the governor's going to treat people now that go against him or lie to him. You see how Andrea is going to look at the governor now and see how Michonne was right. You're going to see how Daryl and Merle work together. Um, it's a very it was so well played with the cliffhanger. And then after this, um, you saw the preview, so that's the end of the review. Great episode, must watch. It was better than episode 4 in my opinion. Maybe not yours, but this one had so much meaning for the series and at all. So did episode 4, but this one, it was I was on the tip of my seat. I was even sweating at this episode because it was fun to watch. It was terrifying pretty much because you don't know what's gonna happen next, what's around the next corner. But that is it for the video. Um, well, not the video, but I'm gonna do a little prediction thing. But if you're not a person that's interested in watching previews or looking at some trailers, all the links are below, Twitter and stuff. Um, so if you're one of those people that refuses to watch previews and that, just wait till the episode come out. You may leave now. I'm gonna do like a minute or two of what I think will happen in next season. Um, but also Monday tomorrow I will be doing a character analyst of every character that we know of, um, and kind of give like a speculation of what could happen to him. Kind of what could happen to him, what can't happen to him. Uh, do they die? Do they not? What some interesting plot lines could happen between them. It's a nice little follow-up to this video, which I'm waiting to do. But I hope the people that are leaving now enjoyed. But now into the prediction speculation area. What you saw in the episode preview, well, the season preview of next season, Daryl Merle escape. That is known. They're not going to kill them because pe people want to see how they interact with each other. Um, the How do they get on Woodbury? I don't know. The first scene you see in the preview is them walking away from smoke. The governor casually walking away like he's a badass while everybody's pointing guns around. Is it Do Rick and that go back in there? I don't know, but all I know is Merle and Daryl escape. Andrea goes back to the prison. It, so prediction wise, Andrea goes back with the group. I think she's done with the governor after she'll find a little bit more about him, but she's done with the governor at this point. Merle and Daryl are back together. You're gonna have 3 storylines. You're gonna have the prison, Woodbury, and Merle and Daryl for a little bit. Uh, they're gonna need supplies after the battle, knowing that what they're up against, the prison might have to go search for supplies. They've searched around everywhere around them on supplies. I believe Rick will take a couple people back to his hometown, back to the police station, and gather some supplies and maybe cover up the loose end with Morgan. Um, Governor, we're gonna see even darker stuff from him. He's gonna become a man that you don't want to get away. You don't want to fail him, basically. You don't want to be that person that goes against him. Well, I think we'll see a couple people from Woodbury leave, possibly Andrea, maybe Milton. Um, Milton's a hard character to predict, so. Um, but that is it for predictions. I think this will go into season 4, the prison arc. I think I think there will be they'll have the first main battle between them two. They'll go to the prison this time and fight. That'll be this, Glenn McZara said the pretty much episode 4 will be like this first half of the episode 4 with Lori and T-Dog. So he says it's pretty much gonna be a mid-season finale for him. So he hinted at that a little bit. I don't know what to expect, but I'm pretty sure that my main prediction is the prison arc lasts into season 4. Um, but that is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys watch tomorrow's character analyst speculation prediction video. Um, all links are below Twitter. Comment below if you have any questions of the episode or your thoughts about it. I'll be willing to comment about it. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And it was February. I'll throw a couple of videos in between February about Walking Dead. But for now, I'm checking out for Walking Dead reviews until February. And I hope you guys enjoyed the past 8 episodes.